BASTA News. Today we're going to talk about the Unincorporated Services Committee on April 28th. Learn more about BASTA's advocacy coordinator, Natalie, and catch up with the famous BASTA youth advocate, Pilar. Are you talking about the Unincorporated Services Committee meeting? Yes, I was there at that meeting. I heard many Eden area residents express their concern on secondhand smoke in multi-unit housing. They were tired of waiting for a resolution to happen on this issue. You could tell they were very passionate about getting protection from secondhand smoke.
This is an issue that came up a couple of years ago. It's been lingering. I know that there's questions on how to resolve the penalty issue, but doggone it, it's time to take care of the people.
It was frustrating to know that folks that wanted to speak on this issue had to wait an hour and a half because public comments was moved from the beginning to the end of the meeting. During that meeting, BASTA adults and youth leaders made public comments. A couple of journalists just interviewed Natalie, the advocacy coordinator that helped mobilize adults to that meeting. Let's watch now.
Take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Natalie Montes. I am the adult advocacy coordinator with the BASTA campaign, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, once again, thank you so much for being here. So we're going to ask you a few questions today, if you don't mind. And the first question I have for you today is, what is your favorite memory from this job?
Favorite memory from this job would have to be one of the groups that I held, that I facilitated. The residents that did show up, there was just such an amazing flow, and they were very passionate, and the conversations were just so natural, how everybody felt like a tight-knit community, even though they didn't know each other. So that's what really excites me about being able to do this kind of work, is that sense of community and that sense of like, we got this together vibe. So that definitely made me feel really wholesome.
The second question is, what have you learned about yourself while working with resident leaders?
That's a good question. I think I've learned about myself how to be able to manage those two traits, like being very open with the residents and very, compassionate to what they're experiencing, and just really being there for them and trying to support however they can. And then with the elected officials, having to have a very different approach to be able to have them also understand what we need in order to be supported.
What is your favorite color?
My favorite color is probably teal, that like blue-green color, or aqua. It has like different names.
The next question I have for you is, what is 1 to 2 pieces of advice you would like to share with the new advocacy coordinator?
Great question. First, I would want to say to be patient with yourself, to not feel discouraged by the timeline maybe not happening the way that it should, with the campaign, because there's a lot of aspects of this work that's just so out of our control, with working with the county and working with elected officials. Like, we can only do so much of our part. So I would recommend for them to be very patient with themselves and not get discouraged, because I would sometimes get discouraged, feeling like it was a reflection of like the work I was doing or not doing. Another piece of advice that I would give is to really find within yourself what drives you to do this work. So what motivated you to want to work with tobacco control? Because in order to really mobilize and organize the community, they need to feel that you are really in it, and that you really care about the issue. Because a lot of times I think people have been experiencing their struggles for so long that they also may feel kind of discouraged, like what's going to change. And that really comes on the person in the position to come through with that passion, with that energy, and that motivation and encouragement that like we will get through this, we're gonna do the work that's necessary to make these changes. So that comes like from, you know, inner understanding of why you care.
The last question we have for you today is, are there any last words you would like to tell the residents you've engaged with during this work?
Yeah, I would say that I've really enjoyed learning about their experiences, although their experiences may not have been great, but you know, I still get to learn about their families and their dynamics, maybe their work situations, and gotten to, you know, see a bit into their lives. And I appreciate them letting me into their lives in that way, and being able to connect with them the way that I have. Even if it wasn't for a very long time, I'm still very grateful of them, you know, trying to share that information with me. And I want to remind them that BASTA is doing, you know, very important work, and that we will be able to support their needs and hopefully be able to get this ordinance passed, and to just not get discouraged and keep, you know, working with us. And we'll keep trying to do everything that we can to advocate for these changes to be made for safer communities.
As we come to an end of this update, we received last-minute footage of the famous youth advocate, Pilar, that has been with BASTA for over a year, fighting for a healthier community. Let's see what she has to say.
Oh my God, Pilar! Aren't you from BASTA? Can I ask you some questions?
Sure, but I only have a few minutes.
Okay. Can you tell us what has BASTA been up to in the last year?
Of course. So BASTA has actually found success in advocating for a tobacco retailing ordinance, and now we are currently advocating for a smoke-free multi-unit housing policy.
Wow, thank you. How does it feel to be advocating for a policy for such a long time and not found complete success yet?
Well, it actually taught me to be patient, and I know that as a community and together, that if we use our voices and we take action, that we can find success in the near future.
Oh my God, okay, last question. How is secondhand smoke a public issue? Tell the people.
Well, it's definitely a public issue because others have to definitely face the consequences of others' actions, and it could definitely lead to health risks and causes like heart attacks, asthma, lung cancer, etc.
Wow, thank you so much. I have a great rest of the day. Thank you for stopping for us.
Thank you.
Bye.